Welcome. All right, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. Is that correct? Yeah, it is. 2022. How about that? I like this new format that I'm doing because we're actually being able to track the things that we're talking about. So next year at this time, I'll be able to pull this out and say, oh, wow, look at this. Here's the topic. Here's the sponsor. All right. So tonight's show is going to be sponsored by the Tribe Book Club and the Homestead Hog Harvest. The Homestead Hog Harvest. All right. So we're actually, the way this kind of works, this is kind of cool, is this show is actually independent of the book club. Obviously, I don't have anything to do with the book club. Jill does, but I don't. But I do have something to do with the Homestead Hog Harvest. I'm one of the instructors there. So it's kind of cool. We can sponsor this show, which is really kind of neat. And I would also like to bring to your attention, all right, we got Andy's in and Dave and Sonia are in. And I didn't even hear you guys next door this weekend. If you were camping over there, I didn't even hear you. I would also like to bring to your attention our Q&A night. I am a highly trained professional homesteader consultant. And if you are a tribe member, you have access to me on Wednesday nights. And tomorrow night, we're scheduling a meeting at 8 o'clock. And if you are a Tribe Plus member, then you can get on the Zoom call. If there's any question on how to do that, start looking into it sometime tomorrow. And if there's any problem, just call the farmhouse, talk to Jill. All right. But it's really good consulting because we do a Zoom call, so we're face to face. You can ask me very specific questions, and then I can get right into it. And we spend an hour. Sometimes we go longer than that. Excuse me. And then I have the blackboard right here, so I can turn around and I can explain things in detail. I mean, you can't get this type of consulting anywhere. Otherwise, you would have to pay me. And I am not cheap, let me tell you. I am not. Actually, some of you have paid for several hours of consulting, and we actually do charge $100 per hour just for a phone consult. So this is pretty cool. I mean, you're getting a good deal on the Tribe Plus. Plus, you get all of the good stuff that's on there, all the video courses and breaks on, things here and there. There's lots of cool stuff there, and we're adding a lot of stuff to it. All right, so I need to announce that I had another grandson born yesterday. It's Joe's wife, Chris, that had the baby, and Joe's the one that helps us with the Anyone Can Farm experience. He's the one that's making all these cool videos and stuff. So if you want to show him some love, I'd appreciate it. Spread his videos around. This is pretty well his main gig right now. And we'd like to expand this. We'd like to, we kind of see a future in this, and we'd like to expand it. So if you could help us with that, that would be a great thing. And what all you have to really do is when another one of Joe's videos comes out, just fire it out there. Just fire it out. The last one that came out, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to look at it. It's on YouTube. Let's see if my YouTube will come up. It's the ANYONE. Anyone can cook. Anyone can farm. FARM. experience. There it is. Comes right up. And whoa, that's okay. Let's see if I can find it. Oh wow. I'm not finding it. Oh yeah, here it is. It's from hoof to sausage in 2 minutes. Whoa, 6 days ago. If you guys haven't seen that, you should go over and look at it. That's me. All right. I don't want to spoil it. But all you have to do is go over to the Anyone Can Farm experience on YouTube. We've got 1,300 subscribers. Oh, no, 0.03. So 30. 1,030 subscribers. That's pretty cool. So you show Joe some love, some internet YouTube love by liking it and then sharing it with everybody. If you could share that with everybody on your, your list of people that you can share with, if everybody would do that, Joe would see this. This is really Joe's thing, I guess I'm the main character in it. And maybe it's kind of my idea to do it, but Joe is the guy that made this video. That's all Joe right there. And I would like to see him stay with Anyone Can Farm, but he's very talented and I can't expect him to hang around forever. So we really need your guys' help. Here's what I need you to do. I need your help. Share that with every person that you know. And now our usual viewership of this, according to YouTube, let's see. I was on the other night with, that's tonight. That's the five best animals for the new homesteader. Okay, I'll get into it in a minute. I just want to see this.
Everybody, welcome. This is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres.
Well, the other night when I did that interview, that's got 362 views. 362 views. If every one of you that views tonight's show would like that video, go find that video from hoof to sausage in 2 minutes. Just because I'm asking you to do it. If you'd go and like that video and then share it with everybody that you can. Can you imagine what would happen? That video would get redlined. I mean, it would go crazy. And then the Anyone Can Farm experience could potentially explode. It could explode. And what that would mean for Joe is employment with us. Like and comment, right, Vendicti? The algorithm looks for engagement. Right. Just comment on it and say how awesome Joe is. And hey, do this. Say congratulations. His new son's name is Ronan. Ronan. Not to be confused with Roman. It's Ronin. I never heard that one before either, but they're name people over there. Names mean something. Ronan Ray, R-E-Y, Baker. So that's my new grandson. I haven't seen him yet. She wound up having a cesarean section. So, and I know I'm not supposed to, I guess that I'm blabbing to everybody about their business, but sorry, it's too late, Joe. Sorry about that. But that's now the recovery begins. All right. She had a kind of a complicated deal. And it really wasn't complicated. If I'd have been there, I'd have gotten it straightened out in a minute. And I told him, just call me. I'll come over and fix it, but apparently there was a twist in the cord and it had him right here. So he was just bouncing on that cord, you know, and he was fine. Those cords are designed so they don't kink, you know, and it was just holding him. So, okay, cool. Vindicti, thank you. Thank you very much. Sean Wise is with us. Right on. Well, you guys, I am really psyched to be here tonight because my life has been going really good lately. It really has. I've just felt really good about every day that goes by. And I think I have YouTube to thank for that. A lot of the stuff that I used to listen to, they just took it off. It's gone. So I haven't been listening to anything. I've just been bearing down on my work. And I have a new hobby that I've taken up to. And you guys should try this. It really has done me a lot of good. So there's people in my life, like a lot of them, that if my mother were alive, she would be saying, you should write them a letter. You really owe them a letter. And then they write you a letter, right? And then it's like, well, I owe him a letter. So I got to sit down and stop what I'm doing and write a letter, you know? And it's good. I mean, you get a letter from somebody, you sit down, you read it, you know, and then all day long you're thinking about what they've said, and you think about the old times with that people, with that person, and things like that. And so the other day, I said to myself, I wonder if I could just make a video and send it to this person that I've been wanting to talk with on the phone. Phone calls are stressful these days, especially with these phones. I don't know why. It was different. Like if the phone was on the wall in the kitchen, that you call somebody's house and at least you know they're in the kitchen because they answered the phone. So it's sort of like you're synced, sort of good time for a phone call. But now I can be making a phone call from on my tractor driving, and the other person could be driving their car or at the mall or something crazy. And you almost feel like you should send them a text first. Can we do a phone call? You know, and so it's gotten complicated. But the workaround on that is just this: you put your phone up and you put it on video. Whoop. And you just talk to the person as if you were sitting there writing a letter, right? And you just show them what you're doing, talk about good times, old times, whatever. And then, bam, you send it to them. And it's gone. It's gone. Then I delete it. So I couldn't even watch it again if I wanted to. And it fulfills that feeling that you have that I really should write that guy a letter. Well, we don't write letters anymore. I did when I was overseas. That's the last time I wrote any letters. But since I've been living here, I haven't written a letter to anybody. And I'm really pressed for phone calls, honestly. I call friends of mine and they don't answer the phone. And I think, well, they're busy. You know, it's during the duty day. You know, I hate to interrupt somebody with a phone call, you know. And you leave a message. Yeah, nothing, no big deal. Call me back. I just want to see how you're doing. And anyway, it gets garbled. But the other day, I sent one video out to a friend of mine that I've actually called a couple of times, but you know, he's busy too. And I didn't get him. He called me back and left a message on my phone, and you know, and we just haven't quite connected. I haven't seen him in about 20 years. And I got a video back from him today, and it was extremely fun to get a video back from somebody. You know, not everybody can do it. Not everybody feels comfortable doing it. I don't care, you know. I just know that I'm pretty busy, and for me to sit down and pen a letter, I know I would rush it because I need to get back out the door. But if I'm talking, I can communicate full speed ahead. And that's great. That's great. So anyway, I got one correspondence back today, and I thought it was really cool. My buddy a Canadian friend of mine, Andy, that I haven't seen kind of a while, but really good friend of mine. Really good, really good, really good. So anyway, for tonight, I am really pleased to bring to you this subject for tonight, and it's the 5 best animals for the new homestead. And this isn't going to be what you think. I've been thinking about it today, and it's like, whoa, this is, oh well, the chicken's the best one. It can't be like that. There's a lot to this, but it brings into question philosophy about the farming life and why and how and all of those things. So I would say it depends. It definitely depends. And then we get to the place where we really have to ask the guy, like, let's say this was a consulting, and you said to me, well, give me a list of the 5 best animals to go on the new homestead. And I would say, well, let's talk about this a little bit, because if I am consulting with you, my goal is in a years or so, you're still running. You're still running. Even if you're just limping along, you're still running. So one of the things, people ask you for consulting, and it depends on the person. I consult with people, and I know that no matter what, certain types of people, I know no matter what I say, they're not going to stop. They're not going to quit. I know that. I can show you people on here. Andy Zumwalt. He is not going to quit. I know that. I know that guy. And I'm not saying I know him personally. Well, I do, because he's been here to take a class, but I think, yeah, Andy's here. I just know that type of individual because I have been around the block a little bit. And there's others on here that I would reckon it doesn't really, they will take what I say and run with it. But if they don't hear what I have to say, they would be running anyway, So, but your goal as a consultant is to, on some of them that I've consulted with, a year later, I have no idea where they're at. No idea. Never heard from them again. And that, I put that in the category of, well, that one didn't go so good. Because, if you are motivated to just stay with something and you do that, no matter what, you stay with it, the answers will present themselves. So you think you want to be a homesteader and you want to know what are the 5 best animals, it really depends on you. It really depends on you. So for me, it's going to be different than you. And for me, at this period in time, 2022, compared to when I started doing this, it would have been 1996 or possibly 95. But I would say definitely by 96. And for me, it started when Jill and I moved from a house in town out to a house that was an hour and 15 minutes away from where I worked at the base. And it was worth it to us because I didn't want her living on the base. I didn't want to live on the base. I'd done that. I didn't want to do that again. So we moved, we were in town and had a house in town, and it was noisy and you could smell other people, laundry and stuff. You're out walking in town, it was just way too crowded, barking dogs and all kinds of stuff. And we knew we needed to get out of town. And so we started looking around and we found this place on a Sunday afternoon. I'll never forget it. It was completely in the opposite direction of where we thought we wanted to live. We thought we wanted to live in what was called the Highwood Mountains. And so we were always going that direction to look at properties. And then our realtor said, well, maybe you should go look at this one. It was a Sunday afternoon. All right. So we drove out there. And it was not the kind of house that we really wanted. It was a double wide trailer that had been put on a foundation. So that was, it's on a foundation. Okay. So, and it looked pretty good, had a new roof on it and was sided and stuff. But we really didn't want to live in a double wide trailer, but it had 13 acres and it had a creek going through it on the bottom. And the creek was probably about 6 or 8 feet wide, and it was pretty deep. And while we were there, hot day, I went swimming in it, and we were just looking at it, and we kind of fell in love with it. And there was no neighbors to speak of around, and so we inquired, and it was in our price range. I had already qualified for a certain amount of money. I forget what it was, and boom, we nailed it, and we moved out there. And it was in the fall, and I had pheasants on the property that I could shoot, and I just really had a really good thing. Oh boy. All right. Yeah, I just got some bad news. Not me personally, but one of the tribe members. I'm not going to mention it now. It's just his father-in-law has died, which is kind of too bad. But I'll tell you about it when I can after he makes the announcement. But anyway, that's what my phone's dinging about. I don't know the guy, but I know the tribe member pretty well. So anyway, that was 1996. That was 1996, or maybe 95. Yeah, I think it was 95. Yeah, because Joe was born in 96. Yeah. So anyway, when we started, I didn't know really much about any of this stuff. I didn't know how to build fences. I did not know how to keep chickens. I knew a little bit about gardening. Yeah, Declaric, you're right. Joe and Faye's baby is here. Yep, little boy, and his name is Ronan, not Roman. I thought it was Ronnie at first, Ronnie Ray, and I thought, well, that's weird. Not Ronan is Ronan Ray. That's not weird though. That's fine. That's it's unique. I wouldn't say weird's a funny word. You can use it interchangeably, different places. So I shouldn't say weird. It's not weird. Sometimes I use the word weird when I think unique. I don't necessarily mean. Never mind. So tonight's show is brought to you by the Tribe Book Club and Homestead Hog Harvest. Okay, so let's move on. So when we started, my first animals that I had on the farm were chickens. They were the first. Yep. And the second animal on the farm was a horse. And it's because Jill had a horse that she boarded at a barn, and we wanted to move him out to where we were so she could ride him. And we did that. And I think that I got kind of, I had an experience. I had lived in town and I tried to make the best of it. I had a place I could build stuff and wash my car and stuff. I had a little garden, but I still had neighbors like all around me. I couldn't go out the back door because the lady's little chihuahua there would come unglued when I did, and it would wake her up and she would yell at me. So, I couldn't win with that one. So when we moved out there, I kind of fell in love with the whole lifestyle. I could shoot a gun when I wanted to. I'd go swimming in the creek. You could just be out there and there was nobody around, and it was quiet, not like living in town. And I started thinking, well, I guess I could get some animals here to enhance our life here. But it was more like it's just cool. I wasn't thinking sustenance. I wasn't thinking of feeding ourselves at first. I wasn't. Matter of fact, I've told you guys there was probably our second or third year in there. I was doing the garden and I thought, what if I had to rely on this? And this was all I had. And I thought we'd be in tough shape because I don't know as much as I need to. I had no way of storing any of the things or anything like that. And so a woman came into our life named Mrs. Riffenberg, old lady Riffenberg, they called her. And we used to go down to her house, and she was pretty old, and she would show us her garden and how she did everything. And she had adult kids, but they didn't stay there. Her husband had passed away. And it was quite interesting to see how she did things. And she had you know, a root cellar, and she kept a log of everything that she did. And she would say, "Oh, well, back in 1974, I had 3 acres going of garden," and she really had it down to a science. She had been doing it as an older person for quite a long time. And we learned a lot from her. And I would say it was after that that I started thinking, hey, we're really raising a lot of our own food here. And that should be the goal here, is to create your own food supply. That's your goal. So if we start this conversation out and we ask the question, what's the 5 best animals to have on the farm? The consultant, the professional, highly trained consultant would say to you, well, what is your goal? What do you want? And I've heard everything from, well, I just like to have some parakeets and then quit my job and raise parakeets. Foolish, right? Yeah, you're not going to make that much money on parakeets. And sometimes I kid around and I say something like, rainbow ponies. I want to raise rainbow ponies and I want to make $1 million. Not going to happen. I mean, it's not with things the way it is right now. It's just the way we are right now. Raising rainbow ponies is not going to make you enough money to make your taxes and feed everybody and pay your insurances and car loans and all that stuff if you got them. Not going to work. Right. So I use it as an example. And therefore, you have to separate wants from needs. Right. Wants from needs. Okay. I know people who make their living on this animal here, but then for the fun of it, I got this peacock over here because I like him. I wanted one. I've always wanted a peacock. There's my peacock. Gee, do you make much money with that? No, I don't make any money with that. That's like golf. I spend money on that peacock, right? Some animals are not going to make you any money. Actually, they're going to cost you money. I mentioned before a horse. Now, in our case, the horse didn't make us any money. But if we were on a farm and we had grass for the horse to eat and room for the horse to be, it was more economical to have the horse where we were than for Jill to take off to the barn, which was in a different section of town, just to ride the horse on a Saturday. And I was like, well, I don't want to. I got stuff to do. I don't want to go and watch you ride a horse, and I'm not really into riding horses. I mean, done it a couple times, but I'd rather ride my motorcycle than a horse. But so it made sense to me move the horse to us. Was it making us money? No, but it was a convenience. And that convenience saved us money. It saved us money. Making money? No, it was saving us money, because if Jill drove to the barn just to ride her horse and then drove home, she was away from us. And, if there was a baby or something, I would have to go to hold the baby while she's riding the horse. So it was better if she was with us, Where we are now, we've had several horses at this farm. I don't think any of them have made us a penny, but the girls like them. So I'm not going to say no. It's not like everything has to make money. My kids have motorcycles. They don't make them any money. My kids play football. They're not getting paid to play football. We have a pool. It's a convenience. I'm not an Olympic swimmer. I don't think they get paid either. There's quite a bit of things here that do not make us money. So I think before you say the 5 best animals to have on the homestead, you would have to say, or the highly trained, very competent, and physically fit consultant would say, what are you trying to accomplish here? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? And then when I just kind of, and sometimes people say, well, I'm not trying to get rich. I said, well, I kind of know that. But what do you mean by, I would probably say, well, what do you mean by rich? What's your definition of rich? Right. And I know is what I speak to, because we have this little thing called the tribe, right? And people put photographs of their lives up on there, right? And I get a really good feeling when I see some of those pictures and I see the display of what they have created. I get a really nice, warm feeling like that one's working. That's working. That's working. I love to see that. I really love to see that. I guess it would be if you were I don't know, a professional golfer or a professional golfer golf instructor, and your goal is to train the next Tiger Woods. And then when you see Tiger teeing up and you trained him, you're like, it gives me a good feeling to see old Tiger out there. I imagine I feel that way, but I feel that way with a lot of people. And they don't just have a good game. They have a series of victories, right? Series of victories. I see the DeClercs are on here, and they just happened to have posted a picture the other day that I made a comment on. And I said, I know who's in charge there. Their daughter, oh man, embarrassing. I can't think of her name right now. Tell me her name. Beth, tell me her name. Well, anyway, it was a picture of their food processing facility. They call it their scullery. And the kids were posing. There was a lot of produce in the foreground, and you could tell they were working. There was a few aprons in the picture, and there was a lot going on in that picture. And I happened to have been there before, and I saw the progress that they had made, and I could see in this picture there was a lot more progress that had been made recently. And I was just, I looked at it and I thought, that is so cool, to get to be part of that whole thing. I don't know. I feel like I am. I've been down there for some things that they've done, and just very, 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 very cool. All right. So that's the fun here. So anyway, let's talk about what is your goal. So we can't go with all of you. So let's just go with what my goals are. All right. Where I've gotten to. I mean, there could have been a time when I said, No, I'm going to continue to work in town. This is just going to be like a petting zoo here for the kids, and we'll call it good. Baker's Green Acres is here. Jill, what is Beth's oldest daughter's name? I hope she's not watching and I forgot her name. I can't. How can I forget that name? Somebody's got to bring it up. But I didn't go that direction. I kept getting deeper into this and deeper into this and deeper into this, and my goals became completely orientated towards food production, right? So the different processes of producing food, gardening, all the different facets of gardening, trees for fruit production, nut production, shade production. I planted some really nice maples this year that are doing really good. Forage production for my animals, hog production, beef production, milk production, poultry. That's what I worked on today. I usually tell you guys what I've done. But poultry production, egg production, milk production. So we do quite a bit here. We do quite a bit. Plus, we run the butcher shop and all the charcuterie things that we do in there. I eat a lot of charcuterie, man. I got to tell you. So we got a lot going on here, but it's all based really on food production, right? Which, in my opinion, I think that is Joe's videos are doing lead actor needs to shape up, huh? I got a lot invested. Evelyn! I love that name too. It's so classic, It's sort of like Agnes. It's almost classic. Evelyn. Evelyn's such a cool kid too. And when she's here, she's in charge of those kids. She's the oldest daughter, and she is mom's surrogate. When she stands in, mom can take a rest. Love that family. Love watching them guys operate. Just really great. And if you want to see that picture, it's over on the Tribe. Anyone Can Farm Tribe. Go over and look at it. Great picture. There's a lot going on there. And yeah. Yep. So my focus has been food production. So if I were going to consult with somebody and they said, okay, this is our first year of homesteading. We're serious about it, and we're serious about it because of we want to get a handle on our own food production, our own meat supply. Where is a good place to start? I would say something like, well, how much time do you have to get the infrastructure together? And let's say the answer was, oh, I got plenty of time. I got plenty of time. And let's say it's beginning of summer. Okay. Then I would probably say, oh, well, what are your resources? What resources do you have? Okay. Do you have dollars set aside that you can buy hay? Do you have dollars set aside that you can buy, corn, feed corn or wheat or things like that? Have you got something set aside? I would also say, well, do you, like, maybe it's beginning of summer and you just moved on to a place and it's 40 acres and it's got a house and a pole barn and it's all grass. It's just grass. What do you do with grass? It's just grass. And it just grows up and it's this gross looking hay. And I don't have any hay equipment, so I don't know what I can do. In that case, I might say, oh, well, notice when I consult, I'm very calm and loving and all that stuff. Like, you damn fool. What are you asking me a stupid question like that? No, I'd be loving and kind. And I would say, well, maybe a good option for you, a place to start would be here. And then you can get your chickens in later, right? So a lot of people, I started out with chickens because it was like, I don't, I don't know anything about this. Pigs? I never had a pig in my life. How could I start there? I don't know anything about it. So I started with chickens because I stopped at the feed store for something for the horse, and there was some chickens there, and the guy was selling them, and oh, that'd be neat. And plus, the farm that I moved to had a chicken house, right? So I didn't have to do much. I just had to get chickens and stick them in there. So for me, it was a good option. But I didn't know much about them. I knew I had to have chicken feed for them to eat, and after I set the whole thing up, I turned it pretty much over to Kyle, and he's the one that took it from there, my oldest son. But maybe at that time, if my focus was food production on that farm, I could have, and I knew how to build fences, which I didn't. I didn't know anything about fences, nothing. I've never built a fence. I could have said to somebody that was more, if there was a person like me around, like let's say that I could have stepped back in time to the 1995 mark. It is, let's see, how old was I then? I was 35 or 36 years old, and I could have said, hey, this is what you should do. And I would have told him this with the full knowledge of what I know now. Imagine that. Think about that. If you could go back and talk to yourself about, what you know now is, and I would have told him, start right here down here at the corner of this property and build a corner post. Well, I don't know how. Well, let me show you. I'll draw it out for you on a piece of paper, and you should be able to do that. Build one here, build another corner here, another one here, another one here. And then I want you to put in one strand of barbed wire. One strand, is that enough? It is for now. And you're going to electrify it. Okay. Or maybe just right off the bat, go with 4 strands, learn how to pull them tight, and call it good. Maybe one strand of electric on the inside just for good measure. And then go buy some calves. Calves? I don't know anything about calves. Doesn't matter. Just stick them in there, and then go to your buddy Paul Hendriger and say, could I buy a round bale of hay off of you? He would say, sure. He's 2 miles down the road. He might even bring them to me. He might bring me 5 of them. If all I have to do is give him dollars for it, right? And hay's cheap, and it was out there too. Plus, Paul's a good friend of mine. He probably would have brought me plenty of hay. He probably would have given me more than I asked for. And then once that's set up, I've got water there. I've got hay in a round bale feeder. I've got calves in there. And now I can go to the next thing, because what's happening every day? Those calves are gaining. They're gaining. But the 36-year-old Mark would say, yeah, but now what do I do with them? Once they get big, what do you do then? Don't worry about it. You have time to learn. I'll tell you about that next year. You don't have to worry about it for a year, right? I could have said that to him. And then I would say to him, probably, now that you have that started, all you have to do is make sure that they have hay to eat. They're on we had a 13-acre place there in Montana. There was 10 acres to the side. It was pretty rough. I would have just left them on there. I wouldn't have done anything. I would have just let them out there to eat. It was dry and it was just scrubby. There was not very much out there to feed. Just let them eat and manure, and make sure they have water, and let them grow. You got plenty of time before you got to worry about butchering or anything like that. Then I would have said, all right, you've got your fencing done. That took you half of the summer. Why don't you get some chickens in and spend the rest of the time working on your garden. And for this year, let's just call it good. Really? Yeah. Yeah. Not much snow. Maybe in the winter, if you get bored, you can go out there and drive some posts and build you a good pig pen. A good, nice big one that you can rotationally move them around. And you'll build it all out of hog panels and get some pigs and throw them in there and start feeding them. Really? Yup. Now you've got some cattle, you've got some chickens in the chicken house, and you've got some pigs going. Now all you have to do is make sure that everybody stays fed. Everybody stays fed. Pig's going to take a year to grow out. In that year, now I want you to go learn how to butcher these animals. I can't do that. I know how to do some stuff, but I don't know how to do that. You can do it. If I had been there to tell me what to do, then I would have gotten much further, much quicker. But it doesn't work that way. But some of you are new, and I've told you that this would be the best way to go. And some of you, I mean, Zumwald, get in here, has listened and said, yeah, he's right. You know, and I can really dig Andy Zumwald coming to our class because he was in the Air Force, and you get geared that way. It's like, they're not telling me this because they want me to fail. They're telling me this because they want the mission to go forward. So I best do what I'm told, right? And it usually makes sense when you get told you're going to this school. Okay, I'm going to this school. Usually leads to bigger and better things, right? So anyway, I think I would go that route if you could. I think calves are a tremendous animal to have, but none of this stuff works and if you can't contain them. You can't contain animals with, pallet fences, and you have to get serious about fencing. You have to learn how electric fences work, and you have to use them. I mean, I got an electric fence going right now that we got a Tractor Supply the other day. They say a lot of those are not good, but this new line that they have, it seems to work really good. And I charged it for a couple days and then put it out. I haven't had anybody go near it. None of the cows have gone near it. And it's just a small one that gets charged by the sun, and I use it for my rotational grazing. If they get out, they're just going to be in the larger area. And all I'm doing right now is I'm keeping them off the hay field, and I'm pushing them around. There's like a belt of woods that goes around my back 40, and I'm keeping them in there. Yeah. Yeah. And it works really good. So you got to learn how to do that stuff. But so the best animal, is there a best animal? I can't really say that. Let's say that you have a part-time job working at a restaurant. Let's say where I was before, let's say I was in the Air Force and I had a part-time job or let's say I just worked at a restaurant. Let's say I was a waiter at a restaurant, and I go to the 50-year-old Mark and I say, hey, what do you think I ought to do? He questions me, finds out that I'm a waiter at a restaurant. Oh, waiter at a restaurant, you have lots of access to, the garbage that's going in the garbage disposal. You have a lot of access to that. Maybe everything off the prep tables and all that stuff, you could get it. Yeah, I could get that stuff. They're trying to give it away. All right, we'll start getting it, bringing that home, setting up your white buckets with tops on them, and then go get you some pigs. Oh, okay. So if that's the situation you're in, you're a waiter at a restaurant, then which animal would be best? Cows? No, because cows don't eat garbage. Pigs would be best for that. And chickens. Chickens will eat garbage. And I don't mean gross garbage. I mean, nice stuff off the prep tables, you know, where they make the salads and all that stuff, the ends of, you know, lettuce and all the stuff that they don't put on people's plate. And heck, if you're feeding pigs, I don't care if it comes off people's plates. I don't care what it is. You know, pigs can handle it. I know the government wouldn't think it's a good idea because of pathogens. Somebody could go in there that has COVID-19 and they could give it to your pigs and then you could eat it and you get COVID-19. So that's probably what they'd say. I don't know if it's true. But, so really the best animal, it depends on your situation. It really depends on your situation. What resources you have. If you on a 40 acre and you got a whole bunch of grass out there, man, you need to learn how to do rotational grazing, get some calves, get them out there and start gaining. Because this really, from my point of view, if you fall in the category that I'm in, right, where I'm trying to produce food and caloric gains are the name of the game for me, then my point of view is going to be different than somebody that just wants just a couple of peacocks running around. Or I got a neighbor, he's doing things, he's doing all kinds of stuff. There's no flies on this guy for sure, but he's got some donkeys on his place. And that's his focus. He likes them. They're cute. But you can't eat them. You know, they're costing you money to feed. Or I mean, he might do a little grazing, I think. He's got a little bit of grazing property down there. But that's, you know, if he was to ask me and I would say, boy, you should have some pigs, he'd say, well, I want donkeys. So, well, then you're asking the wrong guy because I don't eat donkey and I don't think you eat donkey either. But you want donkeys. You know, his focus is different than mine. Mine is food production. If you Tribe Plus members, I really hope that you make it your goal in life to listen to Craig Schaff at the soils workshop that we had the other day. Not last Saturday, but the Saturday before. We really need to listen to that because I think it was me that asked him if he could give some parting shots to the crowd as far as with the state of things in the country. And he had talked to me before the class. So we were kind of feeling the same way. What's a good parting shot to this crowd of people? And he said, oh, good question. Good. I'm glad you asked me. And he said, you have to change your, let's see, how did he put this? You have to start thinking in different terms going into the future. Tell me more. He said, you want to think in terms of calories. Yeah, that was it. Calories and BTUs. Right now, we think, you know, when I say my focus is to make a gain, that gain could be other things. It could be other than US dollars. It could be other than, you know, Iraqi dinars. It could be other things. It could be, lettuce. It could be, corn on the cob. That's a gain. I mean, it takes dollars to get that stuff if I go and buy it. But if I grow it myself, whoa. You mean, like now, it's kind of funny because everything's gone up, right? Everybody knows this. But a dozen of corn in town at the stand is $6, 75 cents an ear. All right. It's about time those guys start getting paid. But when you pay $6 for a dozen of corn, it's just a side dish. It's not the whole thing. It's like, wow, you mean I'm making $6 every time I pick 12 ears of corn out of my corn patch? Yes, indeedy. Ooh, I'm creating wealth. I'm creating a gain. So anyway, your gain can be different things. It can be different things. It can be enjoyment. It really can. It can be the enjoyment of that good food. It doesn't always have to be a monetary gain, although, you know, that's a scorecard in a way. It's and I know money is not exactly real. It's sort of a, but it does have the value that we give it, right? So I'm not throwing it out the window. Like a lot of what we have to do here takes dollars. You guys can't, if you want to be in the tribe plus, it's $15 a month, right? Well worth it. Well worth it. But you can't really send me eggs. You can't really send me beef or anything like that, or give me a virtual back rub over the. You really can't. So I'm glad that we have money, but I think you just have to put it in the right. You have to look at it correctly. And I'm learning a lot about money all the time because I like to listen to things like that. Okay. Whitaker Heritage Homestead. I thought it was funny because I just made a video talking about one of the best animals on the homestead. All right. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Joni Melville's with us too. Millville. Right. Haven't seen Joni in a while. My mouse ain't working here. Okay, so okay, my focus is going to be food production because that's where the calories are, right? I'm not going to probably on my homestead. I'm not going to be concerned with peacocks, and I'm not making fun of anybody that's got peacocks. You know who you are. But I'm not probably going to do that because if I'm going to eat poultry, I would probably prefer a chicken. It's got a better gain, and plus, it'd be a shame to whack that really beautiful, majestic peacock just so I could have one less fly, a drumstick, Okay, Preston, what a good interview that was. I think people really enjoyed it. I sure did. Somebody said that they haven't totally lost hope for American humanity when they see a guy like you, and I agree. It doesn't take a whole bunch of us, it really doesn't. We're gonna make it. We'll be all right. Okay, so but in my situation that I'm in, I would have to say, I'm on fairly fertile ground. I am fenced now. If I were going to have to take animals away, who would be taken away last? It would be the cows. Because my cows are converting grass. Think about how much grass you have. Like if you mow your lawn, how much grass clippings you actually have. It's incredible, the mountain of grass. And then when that grass grows and it gets tall like this, when I'm cutting it in the first part of the summer, it is unbelievable how much is out there. And my cattle will effectively and efficiently turn that into milk and beef and manure, right? They'll effectively do that. So, because I have all this grass here, I would say that the cattle would be the last to go. Who would be the second last to go? It would be a toss-up between the pigs and the chickens. The pigs or the chickens out on the field, the Cornish crosses, they won't eat grass. Not much, not enough to grow out. They need higher caloric, more concentrated calories, uh, especially the meat birds. Now the layers, not so much. Like we encourage our laying chickens to eat a lot of things other than chicken feed. So they're getting, you know, if we butcher beef, they get all the bones, so they can pick the bones. They get, the gut pile from a cow, and they'll go to it. Uh, the pigs, if you have the right kind of pig, like a Mangalitsa or Mangalitsa cross, which I sell, by the way, then you've got an animal that you can feed hay to, and they actually grow pretty good on it. They actually grow pretty good. I have not fed them nothing but hay and expected them to make young pigs, to farrow young pigs. I haven't tried that. I know that they eat it and they maintain pretty well on it, so maybe they do pretty well. I believe that because of the junk bread contract that I have for disposing of bread, if I didn't have the pigs, then I wouldn't be disposing of bread. So I don't know. It really is it's not a toss up. It's something that takes a lot of thought, and your situation is different than my situation. So it was a little deceiving, really. Like you thought I was going to give you, oh, this one's the best. This one's the best. You can't, because let's say that you are in a different part of the country than I am. Let's say you're in New Mexico, let's say, and you don't have much grass, and you would have to bring hay from Idaho down to New Mexico to feed your cattle, then it might not be a good idea, to start there. It might not be a good idea. Maybe later on, and you've developed a really good market, then it might be a good idea. It might, yeah. It might make sense. Bring all that hay down, feed it, and all that. So, okay, let's see. Preston's saying pigs will clear wooded area, and then you could put your cows on that. So they are almost just as good as the cows. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Which animal are you going to get the immediate gain from? I'm hearing a heavy helicopter out there. Okay, see that? Sounds like a Chinook. What are they doing in the neighborhood? That's a Chinook, all right. My helicopters. Oh, yeah. So which one would you get the immediate gain off of? If you use pigs to clear, yeah, you're getting the gain off of them. But then you're not going to have grass grow back instantly. So it could take you a little while to get things going. But anyway, it's great. We can have this discussion, and that's the point of this. Really, is let's talk about this. What's the best animal to have on the homestead? Well, it depends. It depends. Like if you don't have the ability to do all these things, like let's say you're 75 years old and you just don't have the ability to start building for cattle, yeah, it might be chickens might be better. It depends. It really does. I hope you didn't think I was going to come off with a boop 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 boop, because you really can't. Okay, So normally I let you guys know what I did for the day. So that's going to be the end of that conversation, really. It's just a way to think about it as you're wading into the deep end. And by all means, here's a perfect sales pitch. Go on, join the Tribe Plus, and then tomorrow night, get on the Zoom call and say, well, okay, what's the best animal? And then I can say to you, well, it'll be a consulting call and I'll help you winnow it down to the place where you can be 100% sure because I told you, and I'm highly trained and qualified and certified too, to consult with people on homesteading. I'm highly trained and qualified and in good health and handsome. All right. So I'm highly trained. So there you go. There's a sales pitch. And you would leave that Zoom call meeting tomorrow night and you'd be like, well, I know exactly what direction to go now because I've heard it from, a highly trained broadcast specialist and homesteader extraordinaire. Right. So anyway, just fooling around with you guys. Sheep. Sheep is it sheep is or sheep are? Sheep are a good meat source if you, yeah, I'm correcting your English. As a homesteader, I have the right to do that. Plus, I'm certified. So, yeah, you get some pasture in the future. That's for sure. Yep, Joni's right. The type of land that you have will also determine which animal is best. Yep. Sheep is good meat source. Sheep is a good meat source if you are too old for handling cattle for grazing land. You know what? A lot of my cows, they don't even let me touch them. So I don't really handle them. You learn what that animal is going to do when it's faced with A or B, and you can know. Yeah, live Zoom Q&A for members tomorrow night. So if you're Tribe Plus members, I mean, plus you're in with the coolest kids, and you date the prettiest girls, but you got to pay. Right? You got to pay, and I got to split that with Joe. So if you want to show Joe some love, then pay. Right? Yeah, sheep are all right, but it's not like when you're grazing sheep that you're actually touching them. You're not throwing them around. You're not, throwing them through a gate. You just open a gate and they go through. If a sheep doesn't go through a gate, that's you. A lot of them are big and they're a lot stronger than a human. Yeah, well, my beef cows would too if I wanted them to. But the thing is I want them to move away from me because if they move towards me like a dog and they want to be petted, then they're not going to move away from me through the gate that I want them to go. So a couple of them I can pet, and my milk cows I can surely pet, but I don't really have them for that reason. Okay, well that's cool. I could if I wanted to. I just don't. It works in my favor if they move away from me by just being in my. I just have to walk towards them, and they walk away. So if I approach from the correct angle, they'll go the correct direction. That's how we do it. All right. So today, what I did was I was finishing up a G5 chicken tractor. It's the series number on that is going to be the 822. So it's the 8th month of the 22nd year. And I finished it today. I actually made some modifications on this one. We are going to, and my daughter asked me to do this, and I never thought that I would go this route again, but it has made a lot of sense. So the new chicken tractor has got a peaked roof on it, and I actually have put a top over it in the front. We use a tarp in the back to keep the sun off the birds and the rain off the birds and all that stuff. But in the front, I've typically left it open. But we're doing way more freedom rangers now, and they're active birds. They like to get out and roam around, and they're getting mixed up. They jump in with the other ones, and we wind with too much in one and not enough in the other. So I do have tops on them. It's a mod that I just completed today, and I'm real happy with it. So I've got 3 of the G5 tractors going, and I've hauled one of the old ones in and got it in my little place where I work on them, and it's going to go through a mod to go to a G5. It was a G4 before, and so that's what I did. I worked on a chicken tractor all day, but once I put it out there, it was top of the line. I don't think we have Keith Sutton with us today, but I was talking with him, and he gave me a great idea, and I'm going to pass it on to you. If you build chicken tractors and you do not want to put some wheel on the back or have a dolly that you put underneath it, let's say that you would just prefer to have it on a skid. That's what I prefer, because I want mine to be simple. I just grab a hold of the rope in front, which the rope stays on it all the time, pick it up, and I walk back with it. I've got a skid on the back corners. And to enhance that skid, I cut a piece of 1-inch black plastic pipe about this long. So it's 1 inch. So it's pretty good size round. And it's approximately the same diameter, right? Diameter is across as the 2x4 on the back of the tractor. So just that 1 foot section right at the back. And I put it in with 3 screws, 3 3-inch screws. So I had an inch and 2-inch grabbing into the 2x4. And when you pick that up, it slides like a greased skid. Slides like an ice skate on ice. Incredible how much easier that is. And little trick. A couple of times I came in, and my daughter is the one that operates. She's the operations director for pastured poultry. Like, she's the one that operates them. I build it. I maintain them. I fix stuff and all that. But she's the one that is operationally, responsible for the day to day, right? So I brought her out and I said, would this help you? And I give her a couple choices, and then I go with the one that she says. And so it's made it kind of nice. But this new chicken tractor that I put out today, ooh, la la. So you're going to be able to download the plans for that soon. Will be on the anyonecanfarm.com. The plans will be there. I don't think they're there now. Joe's got a little bit more work to do on it, but they should be there soon. So anyway, really cool. Last week, I was talking to you about food preservation, and Sonia chimed in about being able to help me with it. And I showed you a full loaf of bread that I shrunk wrapped, our cryovac, 21 August. And what did I write on there? 22. Yeah, obviously. And it's a week later. And I see no sign of any type of discoloration or anything else. I see no sign of it. And I told you that I would open this up 1 week later, but I think I'm going to wait. The heck with it. Why don't I open it up and see? Now let's wait a month. But no sign of any problem. I couldn't find on YouTube any place where somebody had a really good cryovac machine and did what I did and sucked all the air out of that. So this one has been sitting on the desk here since then. I did another one and I put it in the freezer. So the idea of freezing something like this, it takes up a lot less space. And yeah, this wouldn't be like the greatest, I suppose, but there's still a lot of calories right there. So everything has to be reduced down to calories and BTUs. Calories and BTUs. Why? Because the calories, we need them for this. We need them for this body. The BTUs, especially for guys like people that live where we live, it's going to get cold. And we know it's going to get cold. So, keeping a set of golf clubs, is that going to help me with BTUs or calories? No. So it's like, you mean somebody will give me money for this set of golf clubs? Then I can take that money and I can just, let's say the golf clubs are worth $300. Would you rather have the golf clubs or $300 worth of canned beans? Well, if you're going to go golfing, I suppose you'd need the golf clubs. But if you're not golfing anymore and you are concerned about food security, I think the $300 worth of canned green beans would bring you more, feeling of maybe I can last a little bit longer. Remember, when it comes to food preservation and prepping and all that stuff, you do not have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the next fattest camper. You know what that means? You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun this guy. So if he's a little slower than you, you just have to outrun him, right? And that's the reality of it. I worked with a chief master sergeant when I was a senior airman, and I worked with him at the Aero Club, right? So we were both airframe and power plant mechanics, and we worked on puddle jumpers. And I got to know this guy really good. He was a lot older than me. He had been maintaining A-26s in Vietnam, right? And so he had a lot of cool stories. A lot older than me. This is in 1985. And he had been in the Air Force for 20 years. And I worked with him for a couple more years before he retired. Just a couple. Like, I think he stayed in like 26 years. Or most of us only stay about 20. But he was a chief, so he could do what he wants. And he told me one time when he was stationed in Alaska that he was going hunting, and him and another guy, they were getting their stuff together. This might be a made-up story. I don't know. They were getting their stuff together, and he was, instead of boots, he was putting a light, sort of like a jogging shoe on, and the other guy says, well, what are you wearing those for? And he says, well, I can't run in these mucklucks, in these heavy boots. I can't run in these. And the guy says, well, what do you want to run for? And he says, hey, there's bears out there. And the guy says to him, hey, man, you're not going to outrun a bear if we encounter a bear. You're not going to outrun that bear. And he says, well, I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you. And there was a lot of truth to that. I mean, he said that to me. Was it made up? Maybe it was. Maybe he was just trying to teach me a lesson. There was one time he said to me, like he was a hardcore maintenance guy. And he would say, this is a contest. It's a contest between you and that airplane. Are you going to let that stupid airplane beat you? That airplane is a creation of man. You're a creation of God. You're going to let that stupid thing beat you? Just so the next shift somebody can come in and fix it? No, don't do it. don't let it beat you. So I gained a lot of wisdom from that guy. His name was Pete Wilhelmsen, Chief Wilhelmsen. What a guy. One of the coolest things about being in the service for 20 years, you meet people that you can't forget them. You just can't, especially the ones that stay in all that time. Good, bad, and ugly. You meet them all. Right. So, what do we got here? Interesting to see if the bread takes its shape back when you open it. Probably not. Well, we'll see. You'll have to come around for a month. You can dehydrate and then blend it to powder or croutons. Yeah, bread too. You know what? I got another idea. I am going to get a trash compactor. I've been looking at them. You can get them for a few $100, and I just want to try it. Like fill it with bread, with moist bread, and then compact it down, because that's basically what I did here. But this keeps any air from getting into it. But I think if you compacted bread down into a big cube, and then it's sealed in a bag, I think it would keep for animal feed for a long period of time. Plus, you could stack it up, and then when it comes time to feed it, you just cut the bag off and throw it into the pigs. And I think they'd do fine on it. I even think that you could probably run it through some sort of shredder, and then you could put handfuls of salt in it, handfuls of like kelp, and things like that. I got to consult with Sonia. She's got good input for me. They were supposed to come up here camping this weekend. I don't know what happened. Oh, Luann's with us. All right. Sent you a Janine video. Right on. Yeah, I haven't seen any Janine in a long time. Well, I can tell you that the State of the Union is strong, at least here on this pea patch. It's strong. It's doing good. All right. Well, we're an hour and a half in. Man, I have missed doing this stream. I really have. This week, I'm interviewing Dave and Amanda Allen. And they are going to be there with, let's see. I forget the name of their farm. I think it's Arrowhead. Anyway, I don't have it in front of me, but it's kind of an interesting story because they're both Army vets. And yeah, we can get them to speak, try to keep them speaking in full sentences and stuff. But I think it should be quite interesting because they're farming for a completely different reason. And let's see what that is, and let's see the direction that they're going. So it should be quite interesting. They're both very interesting people, very unique people. So I think that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I always like visiting with them. Dave was here on Tribe Day, and he taught processing. He taught rabbits with Frank. And I didn't see it because I was doing something else, and I just didn't. But I heard it went off quite well. All right. Well, I'm going to get going. We will be talking to some of you tomorrow night at the Tribe Plus Consulting Zoom call. And then the rest of you we will see on Thursday. Let's see if there's anything else that I need to brief you on. Oh, if any of you would be interested in interviewing with us, by all means, just fill out. There's a long form that you have to fill out in triplicates, and then we'll deny you the opportunity, and then just ruin your day. But Okay. And Sonia's saying, we are circling back through at the end of this week. We'll get to you first. All right, cool. Love to see those guys. They were a lot of fun. But they're not preppers. All right. I got to get going. Remember, anyone can farm. Get out there and get after it. It is time to put the pedal to the metal. Good night.